Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And I posted the final episode. Yes guys, the final episode of What If Naruto was the same age as Itachi. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And don't be sad because you already know as usual, new what ifs are coming up soon for you guys to enjoy. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. But for now, I'm going to be giving you part 20 of What If Naruto was trained by the greats at a young age. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and enjoy guys. So yeah, and remember check out Anime King 3 and enjoy it as well guys. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto found himself trapped in the Tsukuyomi world that Itachi created, as Itachi showed him over and over again, as he slaughtered his mother right in front of him, as the thing went on for hours upon hours, ripping Naruto apart inside, as the thing broke him. He eventually passed out as Itachi took him along with him, with his new partner Kabuto, and a little favor from Kisame, as they made their way to the hideout. The next morning, Hinata found Naruto belongs on the rooftop and his blade and knew that he would never go somewhere without this, as she alerted Kakashi. Kakashi alerted the Hokage, seeing that Kiba had sensed Itachi's smell. So with that, Snazzy gathered up a large force back in Konoha, as Kushina was shocked to hear that her boy has been taken, and they made their way. As Kakashi group ended up facing off against Itachi, where Kakashi pulled out his Kamui. As Kabuto was also defeated, but they were just copies of the real deal, and Kisame was captured, as he were able to get some information out of him before they finished him off. So with that, they had to wait though as Kakashi was in no condition after using Kamui. As the other group then came there, but Pain released some of the members to go and handle them, as the extraction was almost over, as they started a battle outside. As Snazzy, Kushina, all of them were there, as they were facing off against Sasuru brought to that 1,000 puppets. As Itachi apologized to Kushina, as he didn't want her to fall this way, but he had to go with his organization. As she was furious as she wanted to kill Itachi, but then the group started to withdraw, as she knew that was not anything good. As Hinata lost all hope of standing when she saw it, as they made their way inside the cave, where he saw his body lying there. As checking his pulse, they came to the realization Hinata had already come to a long while ago. Naruto Namikaze was dead. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the page and check out for yourself. So what is to begin this new episode? No, baby, open your eyes. Please, open your eyes, Naruto-kun. Open your eyes, Kushina said as she rocked him back and front in her arms. You're okay. It's alright, mother's here now and I won't let anyone hurt you, she said. Right by her side, Hinata also kneeled down as she could not speak. The sorrow in her heart was just too much to overcome, as she took one of his hands and gently held it. Everyone gathered around in respectful silence to the heart-wrenching scene. There were tears and silent prayers spoken. Unable to look on, Ino buried her face in Choji's chest, as he held her and tried to comfort her. Everyone, knowing Naruto for so long and care about him, they felt that pain struck them. Even those who had not known him at all, or know him well, seeing the sight of Kushina and Hinata, it struck them hard. Tsunade slowly approached. As she was walking, she saw Naoki and Dan. As Naruto's face came to view, she remembered the day he was born. She had been the one to bring him this world. Her face was the very first thing his eyes had ever seen. She remembered his birthday when she had given him the necklace. As Kushina heard the footstep as she looked up, Tsunade, she pleaded, "Isn't there anything you can do? It can't be too late. He's still warm. Isn't there something that you can do?" Yes, there is. There were gasps from everyone around, as Hinata's head snapped up. "There is," said Kushina, As she was ready to grasp at any straw, her eyes would fill with a desperate hope. She kneeled down slowly. There's a jutsu. I developed it during the time while I was still trying to run away. I was determined to never lose anyone again. So between junking sprees and gambling, I work on a jutsu, one that can even heal a mortal wound, one that can even cure death, so long as the body was still intact. As she noticed something, they didn't take his necklace. I guess the only thing he cared about was the Kyuubi. As she lay Naruto on the floor, Tsunade Sensei Hinata said, I have never heard of such a jutsu. Well, there's a very good reason for that. I never taught it to anyone, not even Shizune. I decided that it was a forbidden technique. But why, said Hinata? Why would such a technique be forbidden? Because of the cost. In order to restore a life, the caster life must be sacrificed. Just like the jutsu used by Minato, this also requires a sacrifice, a human life. Take my life. Take my life for his, said Kushina. There were shouts, some of them telling her she couldn't do such a thing, as others offered to sacrifice their own life. Quiet, said Tsunade as all of them quiet down. I'm sorry, Kushina, but it has to be the caster's life. Then teach me the jutsu and I'll perform it now. No, I'm not teaching it to you or anyone else. Kushina stared at her. I can't ask this. You never ask, Kushina. It is my choice. Despite my looks, you know, I had some sort of good life. I have lived a lot longer than any ninja should. And most of those time was filled with pain and regret. But him coming into my life changed everything, as she smiled. I have had a full life, as she touched her cheek, and I want him to have one as well. I want him to have his dream to become Hokage, and surrounded by all of his grandchildren. I love Naruto, and just like you or Hinata would give her life to save him, I'll do the same thing. Hokage-sama, you cannot do this, one of the Ondo spoke up. And why not, she said. Your duty as a Hokage is to guard and protect the village. She nodded. Yes, that is my duty as Hokage, and that is what I'm doing now. Despite my appearance, I'm no longer young. I cannot protect Konoha's future, but he can. Every Hokage has sacrificed and safeguard the village. That is what I'm doing now. Naruto will be the greatest of all Hokage. He will safeguard and protect Konoha better than I ever could. And to help him with that, I give all of you one final order. Everything that's happened here is a S-rank secret. No one is to know the details of how I died or how Naruto was rescued. I don't want a bunch of fools hating him for something that was not his fault. He already has enough of that already in his life. She saw nods from everyone, even the Anbu operative that had, well, tried to stop her. So Navi, I don't know. As Kushina lowered her head, I don't know what to thank you for this. Tsunade reached out and hugged her friend. There's no need, Kushina. After all, he's my godson. But I would like you to pass on a pair of messages for me. Of course, said Kushina. First, tell Naruto not to feel any guilt over my death. I know he was give his life to save people that he loved, and I am doing the same. Second, she hesitated just a bit. Please tell Jiraiya that I know that he loved me, and I'm sorry I couldn't return his feelings. Tell him I care for him even if he's a loud-mouthed pervert. Oh, and tell him I'm sorry about the salt. Salt? Oh, he will know. She looked towards Hinata. There's also one thing I want you to promise me, Hinata. Anything, Tsunade-sama. Just always be there when he needs you, even if he doesn't want to admit that he does. I will always be there for him. I'll never let him go, said Hinata. You're a good girl, Hinata, and Naruto's very lucky to have you. As she smiled. No then. As she went through hand signs, a long, complex series of hand signs, as everyone watched quietly. As she completed the jutsu, a green glow emerged from her body, flowing into her hands and went straight into Naruto. Tsunade started to sweat and pant. Kushina put her arm to support her and offer her comfort. As Tsunade felt herself weakening and becoming cold, she had no second thoughts. She loved him, and she was willing to sacrifice herself for his sake, as her life force flowed into him. I'm very sorry. I will never get to see you as Hokage, my sweet boy. But I know that you'll make me proud just as you always have. Be great, Naruto-kun, and always do what you know to be right. The future is yours. She was near the end. She felt his heart beat. He's alive, Hinata said. And as to prove it, his eyes suddenly snapped open as he looked around confused. Godmother, he whispered. Naruto, I love you, she said. As the green glow left her arms, as she fell back as Kushina already was there to caught her. Carefully holding her, Kushina set her down. Naruto felt weak and exhausted. His mind was fuzzy and he didn't know what happened. As Hinata was kneeling over him crying. Hinata-chan, am I dead? Is this heaven, Naruto asked. No, Naruto-kun, you're alive, she said. You're alive, she said. as tears pulled out of her eyes. Time skip. They did not find anything in the base. After what happened, there was condolences and words of sympathy. But surprisingly, little more had been said to him. What was there to be said actually? How long are we going to leave him alone? Hinata said in a worried tone. Leave him be, Hinata. After everything, he needs some more time. But he needs to eat, as I made it Nina I know how much food he needs right now to get his strength back. As she ate a bowl of rice. As Kushina smiled, seeing her acting just like a wife, as she made her way, as they were all outside, having some lunch and resting. Given the strain that they took to get here, and ingesting soldier pills, their body were feeling the effects. As everyone turned to see Hinata left the group and head off. When Naruto first survived, he was weak as a kitten. Yes, and he was disoriented, as they had helped him along. As he wanted to know what was going on, as he saw his godmother, he couldn't make his way over to her, so Kushina took him aside and told him what happened. His face then went blank, completely blank, as he had made his way to the forest, saying that he wished to be alone. Hinata wanted to go after him, but Kushina convinced her to leave him alone for now, and Hinata had kept a few eyes on him, just in case. As she was going to see him now, it had been a few hours and he needed to eat, he needed to regain his strength. He was just sitting there, his back, resting by a large stone. He wasn't moving, even though he knew that she was coming. She came to a stop about 10 feet away from him. As he said nothing, he did not even acknowledge that she was there. As she waited, she decided to say something. Naruto-kun, you need to eat something. I brought you some nice steamed rice. I'm not hungry, he said. Naruto-kun, you haven't eaten in 3 days. You need to eat to regain your strength. I'm not hungry, Hinata-chan. I'll eat a ration bar later. She sighed. A ration bar was actually healthier than a bowl of rice. The only bad thing about them was that they taste like pasted cardboard. Fine. She set the bowl down and reached into a pouch as she pulled the ration bar and stepped towards him. Here, eat it now. He looked over to the offering. I'll have it later. Naruto-kun, I'm not leaving here until you eat something. He looked at her face, as she has never seen him look at her like that. His face dull and empty. But he reached and took the bar. As he unwrapped it, he shoved about half of it into his mouth and slowly started to chew. Finally, he swallowed, as he shoved in the rest of the bar and took a swig of water. She stood there patiently as he chewed and chewed. As he swallowed it down, he looked at her with a frown. Happy now? I just wanted to get you to eat something, she said. Well, now I've eaten. As he turned away, she waited a long moment, hoping that he would say something, but he did not. As she picked the bowl back up, I'm sorry for bothering you, she said, as she turned to leave. Hinata-chan, she stopped in her tracks. I'm sorry, he said. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything right now. It's alright, Naruto-kun. After everything that's happened, you're allowed to be a bit of a mess. But please don't push away all the people who want to help you. I don't want to see you all alone. He slowly nodded. Can I please sit with you, she asked. It might be a bit selfish, but she wanted to be with him. She wanted to be here for him and to comfort him. Sure, he said, as she put the bowl down again and sat down with him, until she slowly came over and snuggled up with him. Nothing else was said as they just sat there in a comfortable silence. Time skip. I wonder what's Hinata going to say to him, Haku spoke. She's probably just going to tell him how much she loves him, and how much she's relieved that he's alright. Gabriella said quietly. Take away a grin, or maybe she's going to push him down in the grass and show him how much she loves him. As Gabriella shot her angry look. Do you have to be so damn vulgar? Take away a stick and gave her a harsh look. What the hell is so vulgar about that? If the boy I love came back from dead, you better had believe that is exactly what I'll do. As she glanced towards Haku. Hey, I saw that, said Gabriella. Saw what, princess, said Teiwaya. With a tired sigh, Haku stepped between them. Do you two really want to do this now, he asked. Before they could say or do anything else, Guy shouted. Someone is coming. That immediately got their attention as something leapt out of the forest. The ninja rushed over to them. As he landed, he started to pant. It looked like he had been running the entire way. I guess. I missed it. Jerry caught his breath. Is Naruto alright? Kushina, Guy, Tenzu, and Asuma all shared a look. Yes, Naruto is fine. He and Hinata are off on their own right now, said Kushina. Jiraiya smiled, a relief look on his face. I knew the kid would be alright. I'm just sad I didn't get here in time to help. So where's Navi? I know she won't probably yell at me for being late. Jiraiya, there's something you need to know. Time skip, as Navi was inside where it was a bit cooler, as her body was on a mat. As her hands were placed to her chest, with her jutsu gone, you could see her real age, a woman in her 50s. To Jiraiya, she was every bit as beautiful as she has always been. Snappy, he whispered, as he looked towards Kushina and Naruto, the only other people that were there. You know, it's almost funny. I never thought I'd be the last Sanin. She was one of the family name and all the natural talent. Orochimaru was a genius, and me, I was a fool, the screw up. But here I stand, the last of us left. As he went silent. As Naruto stepped forward, and he stopped. Do you hate me? He asked. This was my fault. She died because of me. Jiraiya reached out and grabbed him in front of her shirt and yanked him forward so they were face to face. Don't ever say that again, kid. She died because of the Akatsuki, not because of you. She made a choice. Just like many of us did before. Don't blame yourself, because I don't. As Naruto felt the shame consume him, Itachi captured me, because I was stupid and arrogant. I got a message at the hotel saying that there was an envoy messenger waiting for me. Deliver a special message, and I knew that was the standard procedure. Even if the message was for me, it would have been sent to my squad leader, Kakashi. I should have known better. I should have called in Kakashi and the rest of my team. But I honestly thought that Tsunade was giving me a special mission only I could handle. And when I got there, I knew it was Itachi. And I decided to fight. I didn't call for help and I did not run. Maybe I couldn't have. It was over so quickly. Maybe it was too late. But I didn't try to call for help because I figured I could handle it. Naruto, how could you do something so stupid? Jiraiya's voice is not angry but frustrated. How many times do I remind that Akatsuki will always be a danger to you? How many times do I warn you to be aware of possible traps? And just how many times do I try to drive the concept of strategic withdrawal in your head? What? Did you believe that just because you didn't pull off the Harry chain that you were invincible? You did, didn't you? Naruto, being a ninja taught you nothing else. I should have taught you that anyone can be taken out with the right circumstances. No one is invincible all the time. I know that, he said. I'm so sorry. Jiraiya took a deep breath. Look at me. Naruto. As Naruto raised his head slowly, as Jiraiya placed both of his hands on Naruto's shoulders. Listen kid, I'm not gonna lie. What you did was stupid. And you really should have known better. But that said, even if you had done the smart thing and called in your squad, there's still a chance you could have been captured. With an enemy like Itachi after you, there was always a chance of that. Especially since you were away on the mission. If you had been captured through no fault of your own, things would have played out the exact same way. Learn from your mistake. That is what Tsunade would have wanted. But if I had just what? Said Jiraiya cut him off. Been smarter? Been stronger? Then none of this would have happened? Maybe. Naruto flinched hearing that. And maybe you would have been captured 3 months before now. Maybe one of your teammates would have been killed. Maybe you would have been. So long as Akatsuki was determined on taking you, the possibility of something like this was always there. You could have handled things better, Naruto, no doubt. But even if there had, there still have might been a tragedy. A ninja life is filled with tragedy, Naruto. That is something you should know well. So don't blame yourself. Blame the Akatsuki. As Naruto slowly nodded. Thank you, he said. Don't thank me, kid, said Jiraiya as he pulled a scroll. I haven't done anything. As he sealed Tsunade's body. I'll carry her back to Konoha. Kushina looked at her son as she was scared to hide her disappointment, as she had expected better from him. She taught him so much time ago to not take foolish chances, but looking at his sorrow, she knew that the lesson has already been driven home. She would not say anything. Jiraiya had pretty much driven it home anyway. As the three of them left the base, one of the envoy approached it. As he kneeled, Naruto-sama, we have all eaten and resigned. What is your orders? As Naruto looked at the man, what are you asking me for? Ask my mom, Jiraiya or Asuma. But Naruto-sama, the man said, you are now the Hokage and you have final authority. Naruto stiffened as he looked at the man like he was insane. Are you kidding? I'm not the Hokage. Yamato had removed his mask and stepped forward. Actually, Naruto, you are. You are officially appointed successor with the approval of Tsunade-sama and the council. By law, the previous Hokage's death, you automatically become Hokage as Yamato bowed. Hokage-sama. As the other envoys did the same. And not just the envoy, Hokage-sama said Asuma. Hokage-sama said Guy, Lee, Tenten, as all of them started to follow. As Haku, all of them bowed. Even Teiwaya mumbled as she bowed. Hinata sent him a blissful look as she offered him a deep and formal bow. As Kiba bowed, Kakashi was lying down as he waved at Naruto. But there hasn't been any ceremony. I can't just be Hokage, Naruto said. Sorry to tell you this, kid, but the law said that you are. There will be a coronation, but that just to give the public a chance to celebrate. You really are the 6th Hokage now. Try not to screw it up. And with that, Jiraiya offered a bow as well. Hokage-sama. His mother smiled as Naruto grabbed her arm. Mom, please don't. It's weird enough to see Jiraiya and Hinata do it. She leaned forward to give him a kiss on the cheek. I'll consider that as the very first order from the Hokage. I'm so proud of you, Naruto-kun. I don't think I'm worthy of being Hokage, he whispered. She hugged him and whispered in his ear. It's alright, Naruto-kun. No one ever is, she said. Time skip, as everyone was getting ready to leave. So she cared for me, said Jiraiya. Kushina nodded. What exactly did she mean by salt? Jiraiya chuckled, but he declined to explain. Meanwhile, my eternal rifle, are you ready to go? Before Kakashi could say anything, Guy grabbed him and put him on his back. The image was a bit disturbing. This isn't really necessary, guys, said Kakashi. Nonsense, my eternal rival. As a fellow Leaf Ninja and your eternal rival, it is my duty to aid you in your distress. Besides, it will be good training. Hearing training, Lee turned towards Tenten as she pulled a kunai. Don't even think of it. Hinata made her way to Naruto. Naruto-kun, before we go, there's something I want to give you. As she pulled out something wrapped in a blanket. What is it? As she handed him the object as he unwrapped it. My katana. Thank you, Hinata, he said. I thought I lost it. I would have never left it behind, she said. I know how much it means to you. As he cut his palm with it. What are you doing, she said. Well, I did join to fight. I mean, I have to give it blood before putting it back. Naruto-kun, you don't have the Kyuubi chakra anymore to heal you. Neither does my mom. She still does it though. It's an Uzumaki clan tradition, I know, Hinata said. As she never liked this particular tradition. Well, let me heal you, as she took his hand and examined the wound. Naruto-kun, look. A bit surprised, Naruto looked at his palm. The cut was almost close. It was not as fast as it would have before, but it was close. I don't understand. I don't have the Kyuubi anymore. How can I still have my healing? Oh, it's probably a little like building up immunity, she said. If you get sick, your body learns how to fight off the sickness. So next time you get the same infection, your body knows how to fight it off and to deal with it quickly. My guess is, after all the years of the Kyuubi chakra healing your body, it has learned how to do it by using your own chakra. Unlike before, you don't need to do anything, your body will heal you on its own. But keep in mind, seeing that this will use your chakra, not the Kyuubi's, it won't be as effective and fast. That makes sense, I guess. It's still a lot better than nothing. I wonder what else has stayed the same. She reached out and stroked his cheek. Well, I'm gonna miss your whiskers. I always thought they were cute. Kiba came over. Hey Naruto, why don't you go and ride an Akamaru on the way back? No thanks, said Naruto, I'm fine. No, Naruto-kun, you're not fully recovered yet. You can ride on Akamaru, or I'll get Jiraiya to carry you. Naruto looked where Guy was walking Kakashi at his back. Well, on second thoughts, I guess I could ride an Akamaru back after all. It took them 3 days to get back to Konoha. Message or send ahead that the rescue was successful, but with loss. Nothing else was revealed until they returned. The moment they got back, an emergency meeting was called. Naruto was pacing back and front in a small room in the tower. I don't think I can do this, he said again. Yes, you can, Naruto-kun. You have been preparing for this your entire life, said Kushina. Mom, I'm only 15. I thought I would have a few more years to get ready. Would they even accept a 15-year-old Hokage? Of course they will, Naruto, said Jiraiya. We live in a society where 12-year-olds can command adults 4 times their age, and no one think twice about it. I really don't think I'm ready for this. I've screwed up so badly, said Naruto. You have, Jiraiya said as he decided not to minimize things. And if you made those same mistakes as Hokage, your entire village will suffer for it. Kushina gave him an unhappy look. She was trying to build up Naruto's confidence, not tear it down. As Naruto frowned. Do you mean I should quit? Absolutely not, Jiraiya said. What I mean is that you have to stop being stupid and reckless. I've known you your whole life, kid, so believe me when I say this. There's no one else I would trust more to take care of this village. I know how seriously you take this responsibility and how much you come into it. The doubts you're feeling right now don't change the fact that you're ready for this. But what if I still make mistakes? Oh, don't worry about that, Jiraiya said, because I'll guarantee that you will make mistakes. Let me share a little secret with you, kid. All the Hokages made mistakes. They all made decisions that they regret later on. You wanna know why? Asked Jiraiya. Because they were all human, and last I checked, all human beings are flawed. He chuckled. Well, I know a few Uchihas that would probably disagree. So you're telling me I'm going to this, knowing I'm going to make mistakes. The trick is to not make any big mistakes in the end, Naruto. All you can do is your best. And believe what you think is right. And you won't go too far off. There was a knock on the door as Yamato poked his head in. The council is assembled, Naruto-sama. Naruto nodded. It was weird, but he was starting to get used to it. Thanks. As he looked at his mom and Jiraiya. What if they ask me? Why do I believe I should become Hokage? What do I say? Tell them the truth. Tell them that you're the son of the greatest hero, and you'll spend your entire life preparing for this. Tell them that your loyalty to Konoha never wavered, despite the hatred that met you. Tell them by the time you stepped foot in the academy you was powerful as most of your teachers. Tell them that you killed a Kazekage and over 300 enemies when the village was attacked. Tell them you helped kill Orochimaru. Tell them you have been trained by 2 of his Sanins. Tell them that you and you alone successfully rediscovered their father prized jutsu. Jutsu many say is the most powerful in the village. Tell them you are still the only choice to succeed her. And above all, tell them that you're Naruto Namikaze and that you are the 6th Hokage. Naruto slowly nodded. I'm the 6th Hokage. As he took a deep breath, I'm the 6th Hokage. As he went inside, as the door opened up, as all eyes turned towards him as Kushina went over to her seat. As Naruto pushed all doubts away, and he would show them someone who was certain of himself, his eyes scanned the 15 members who were seated, as Jiraiya was standing. His mother, his uncle, Shinsu, Hayashi, Shikamaru, Choji, Asuma, Tatsumi. He was certain that they would support him. That gave him the backing of almost half the council back there, and with Jiraiya standing beside him, he was sure that he can get most of the others. As he and Jiraiya stood ahead of the table, near the empty chair, as Naruto did not sit down, not yet, as there was nervous looks on the rest of the faces, seeing that only a handful of them knew what happened. Where is Nane-sama? Uchiha Ryuki asked. Jiraiya looked on the table. I'm afraid she's gone. She was a lone casualty in the fight against the Akatsuki in the rescue mission. Jiraiya might as well have tossed an explosive note in the middle of the room. Suddenly, everyone who did not already know was standing and shouting. As Naruto stood there and remained silent, his mom and Jiraiya told him how this would like to go. How did this happen? Koharu said. That I can't tell you, said Jiraiya. Before she died, Tsunade declared all of the mission detail to be a S-rank secret. You mean to keep secret from us, said Danzo. We are the council of Konoha. So what, said Jiraiya. There are plenty of things kept from the council, and that is something you know quite well. Danzo looked displeased but did not argue. What are we to do now? Ryuki asked. About what? Said Shikamaru. About the position of Hokage, Ryuki said. If the Hokage is dead, we must find a replacement immediately. It will be a dangerous sign of weakness for us to be without a strong leader. I'm sorry, said Jiraiya. Were you not there when the council elected a successor? Ryuki's eyes widened. You can't mean to place Naruto in that position. I mean exactly that. Naruto was nominated by Tsunade and approved by a majority of this council. He was legally appointed, and as for the law, he's Hokage now. That set off a whole new barrage, as Naruto's supporters and the ones that were against him argue. He's too young and experienced to be Hokage. The new clan head for the Yamanaka stated. He has been a Jonin since he was 12. He spent 2.5 years receiving training from me. To say nothing of the instruction and preparations he had received to becoming Namikaze clan head. Despite his youth, he has seen more combat and difficult missions for ninjas twice his age, said Jiraiya. It is too dangerous to have Hokage, given what is inside of him. Ryuki said. You mean the Kyuubi? Naruto asked. Finally speaking, the room quieted down at that word. Yes, Ryuki said. I do not mean to offend you, but we cannot pretend that the Kyuubi does not exist. Well, let me ease your mind. I no longer possess the Kyuubi. It was removed by the Akatsuki. As everyone went silent. What? Isn't that good news? How can you think that is good news now that our enemies have that power in their possession? Danzo asked. Oh, so now all of a sudden, you want me to have the Kyuubi again? A minute ago, Ryuki was complaining that I could not be just because I had the Kyuubi's power. Now you complain because someone else has it. I would love to know what it takes to make all of you happy. As he took a breath, I am sorrier than any of you would ever know that Tsunade-sama is gone. I loved her very much, and even though it was my dream to become Hokage, I never wanted it like this. I'm sorry that I was captured, and I'm sorry that the Akatsuki now has the Kyuubi. If I could change what has happened, I would. But all I can make sure is that my godmother's sacrifice wasn't for anything. With that, he sat down in the head chair. What do you think you're doing? Asked Koharu. Sitting in my seat, Naruto said. Whether any of you like it or not, I am the Hokage now. And if I have to, I'll fight for my position. If some of you believe you cannot follow me, then I ask you to resign from this council. Because I am not going anywhere. They were gasped at his blunt statement. I decided I am going to be Hokage. Not for myself and not for my father, but for everyone in this village. I know I may be young, but I'm the only one that can do this. I know this may sound rather arrogant, but Konoha is in great danger. The Akatsuki and their leader are a greater threat than anyone has ever known. And I believe I'm the only one that can stop them, and I will stop them. I ask for your help. Help me. Protect Konoha, he said. Shikamaru was the next one to speak. This whole situation is troublesome. With the Kyuubi, the Akatsuki now possess the strongest piece on the board. That would make the game more difficult, but more interesting too. He looked at his fellow council members, the Naruto. I have known Naruto since I was 8, and can honestly say, there is no one else in this world that I can trust. I would trust him with my life and the fate of this village. Jiraiya trusts him, and so does the 5th. And I will put all my trust in him to lead us. As Naruto nodded towards Shikamaru. I am at your service, Hokage-sama. as the other close. Supporters joined in, saying that they recognized him and they would follow him. With so much strength revealed, the rest of the council members went along, except for one person. Yamanaka Mishio stood up. I will not recognize you as a Hokage. Jiraiya frowned. You cannot sit on the council if you refuse to recognize a Hokage authority. Then I resign, he said with dignity. Naruto nodded, as he said not a word as the man left. He already knew who he wanted to take the man's place. I thank all of you for your support, and I promise I will give everything I have to protect this village. Now, if there are no objections, I would like to bring this meeting to an end. I will ask my mother, Jiraiya, and Shikamaru to remain. Yamato, could you please see if Kakashi is in condition to move? If he is, please have him to come here as well. Hayashi, could you please ask Neta to come here? Kakashi was able as he came in there. So before him now, Jiraiya, his mother, Hinata, Shikamaru, Kakashi, and Yamato were there, as Naruto asked Yamato to stay as well. What is this about, kid? Said Jiraiya. You never said anything about the second meeting. Sorry, wasn't sure how to go about this. Now before I tell you what I'm going to tell you, it's a S-rank secret. No one outside this room is to be told about it. I asked for the 6 of you because I would trust my life with any of you, and I'm gonna need your help. Naruto-kun, said Hinata. Why isn't Kiba here, and what about Haku? I trust Kiba and Haku, but I need to keep this to a few people as possible. Jiraiya, Kakashi, and Yamato will be getting special mission from me, while I want you, Mom, and Shikamaru to be able to advise me and go on missions. Kushina perked up. Son, you're Hokage now. You can't just leave the village to go on missions. I'm going to have to, Mom. I'm the only one that can work the Harashin. Why do I get the feeling this is going to be really troublesome, said Shikamaru. Probably because it is. Now I'm going to ask all of you to keep an open mind. What is this about, Naruto-kun? His mother asked word. It's about a secret that I was told while I was dying. What? The Akatsuki told you a secret? No, it wasn't them. I don't remember who it was. When I try to remember, I get this fuzzy memory of someone trying to help me. Maybe it was Shinigami or the ghost of someone I knew. All I knew is that it was someone I can trust. I know how this sounds, he said. Look, kid, I'm sure you believe you got a message from beyond, but it's more likely that it was a dream. Shinigami are real, souls are real, hell is real, demons are real. All these things we know to exist for a fact. They are as real as chakra. Is that hard to believe that someone was able to speak to me? Can you prove it? No, but I'm sure the secret was real, and I intend to act on the information. It's too important not to. To be honest, part of the reason I decided I had to be Hokage. If you are sure, Naruto-kun, then I am too, said Hinata. Well, what is it, said Jiraiya. I know what the Akatsuki want to do with the Biju they're gathering. Alright, I'll bite. What is this for, said Jiraiya. A weapon, said Naruto. Their leader believed he can use the Biju as a powerful weapon that can destroy whole nations in an instant. He think, having these people see the weapon and the destruction, it would force them to see the futility of war and bring on an age of golden peace. That's horrible, said Hinata. Imagine a weapon like that. Oh, it's much more worse than that, said Naruto. What's more worse than the Akatsuki? Having a weapon that can lay destruction to the nation, said Kakashi. The fact that it won't work. Or maybe I should say to work too well. The Bijus cannot be used in the way their leader plans. Their power cannot be controlled once it's unleashed. If this weapon is used, it will release a fire that cannot go out. It will be the end of the world. They all stare at him. So let me just clarify this. The Akatsuki are creating a weapon that can destroy the entire world, and it's up to us to stop it. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, said Naruto. Alright, I take it back. Troublesome. Does he even begin to describe this as Shikamaru? Naruto-kun, why aren't you telling the council this? Something this important, they should know about it. 2 reasons, Hinata-chan, Naruto said. 1. I don't think that they would believe me. Especially not if I told them where I was getting my intelligence from. They would probably try to use this to unseat me. If later on I decide to tell them, I will tell them that it's information Jiraiya discovered. You're going to lie to the council, Hinata said. If I need to. A ninja village pretty much runs on secrets. If I have to keep a few, or more than a few from the council, I will. Kami know that Danzo and Ryuki has kept their share. Naruto, what's the other reason? Well, from what I can gather from Kisame interrogation, none of the other members of the Akatsuki know the real goal. Right now, Pain, thinking that it is his secret. I wanted to keep on thinking that it gives up the advantage. Alright, Shikamaru. Let's just assume that everything you said here was true. The Akatsuki really do plan to blow up the world once you have the Bijus. How exactly are we going to stop them? There are 2 ways, and we're going to pursue both of them. First off, even the Kyuubi, there are still other Bijus out there. The Akatsuki won't act until they require all of them. Wait a moment, Shikamaru said. What about the Shikaku one tail that was in Gaara? There's no way for them to acquire all the Bijus now. True, but Pain obviously believes that he can make things work with the remaining 8. We have to deny him those 8s, and we have to take care of him. He is the key. Building this weapon is his idea, and he's a motivating force behind it. Once he's dead, the threat from this weapon will be over. I know, I'm asking for a pretty big leap of faith here. All I can tell you is that I'm sure about this. Put my own life on line about it. I believe in you, to say Jiraiya. You do? I do, said Jiraiya. I'm gonna tell you something. When I was younger, I was summoned by the Great Toad Sage, the ancient out of all of them. He told me that I would wander the earth, and one day, one of my students would bring peace or destroy the earth. He would be the destiny child, his fate. His fate would consider the peace or destruction of this world. I have had 7 students. The 3 in the 4th Hokage squad. The 3 orphans I run into in the Hidden Rain. And you, Naruto, you're the only one left. All the others are gone now. With what you just said, I now believe that you're a destined child. And you would be the one to bring peace or cause this world to be destroyed. As no one spoke for a long moment, as Shikamaru summed up everything, what everyone was feeling at that moment. Man, what a drag, he said. Shikamaru went home. As he was dragging his feet, well, there was a lot on his mind as he entered his house. As he went to the kitchen, as he smelled food. As his mother was putting chicken in the pan, while Temari was chopping up some onions. Well, you're back late, said Temari. How was the council meeting? Very, very long and very troublesome, he said. Anything you can share with us? Asked Yoshino. Well, only that the council acknowledged her as a Hokage, except for Mishu that resigned. They already know about Tsunade and Naruto being Hokage, so it did not come as a shock to them. Miss you, huh? I'm surprised it wasn't Ryuki, said Temari. I'm not. He's not one for pointless gestures. As Temari started to chop the onions once again, Temari, she stopped. Yes. Will you marry me? He asked. Her face jerked up as she nearly cut off a finger by mistake. There was a loud crash as a tray of chicken fell on the floor. Both women were now staring at him. He rolled his eyes. I asked if you would marry me, you troublesome woman. She continued to look at him, before she clenched her fist and smacked him over the head. Ow! What the hell was that for? I thought you would be happy. This is supposed to be one of the most memorable and wonderfulest moments in woman's life. And you just blurred it out while I'm chopping onions? Fine then, if that's how you feel about it, forget I asked. He turned to go, as a knife passed his left ear and embedded into the door. As he froze, Temari was in front of him. As she took a deep breath and released it. You can't just ask something like that and expect to take it back. Not unless you want me to smother you in your sleep tonight. She took a second deep breath. Now I want to know if you're serious. The way she was looking at him, he knew that there was only one answer to that question. Of course I am. Serious. She crossed her arms. Why no all of a sudden? She asked in a suspicious tone. I am afraid the world might end soon and I don't want to die a virgin, he said. He saw her eyes darken and he knew he should have lied. Damn it, woman, he said. You're gonna give me a concussion. She bumped him on the head once again. Want to try answering that again? She growled. Fine, he said, as he came up with something that might sound acceptable. The 5th was one of the most powerful ninjas in the world. A true ninja legend. And I saw her die just 3 days ago. If someone like Tsunade could be killed, obviously, it could happen to me anytime. As both Temari and Yoshino nodded. I just decided there was no longer waiting since I love you. And I want to be with you forever and yada yada. A slight smile touched her lips. You still could have made that effort to be a bit more romantic. Well, I guess I should expect that from you. As she leaned forward and kissed him. As the both of them forgot that Yoshino was standing right there. As she leaned back. I'll probably regret this, you lazy idiot. But yes, I will marry you. Time skip as Naruto was about to go to bed. As he was in a t-shirt and his boxers. As he heard a knock on his door, thinking that it was his mother. Come in, he said. As he was surprised when Hinata came inside. Good evening, Naruto, she said, as she was wearing a beautiful pink kimono. Hinata-chan, he said. What are you doing here so late? As he noticed how she was dressed and the way she put her hair up. Wow, you look beautiful. Thank you, Naruto, she said. As she made her way forward, she then came over and she kissed him. As she leaned back. I want to stay here with you tonight. As she started to remove her kimono. I thought you want to wait till, I did, but I don't anymore. After everything that happened, and knowing what might come, I don't want to wait anymore. I have loved you in my heart and soul. So I don't think it's wrong to love you in my body as well. As she let her kimono fall to the floor, there was nothing underneath. As she stood there without any shame, displaying herself to him. Your dad is gonna kill me, he said. No, he won't. I told him I was going to stay here to help you with your newly Hokage duties. He nodded, feeling happy that Hayashi won't be coming looking for him in the morning. But then he had a thought. What about my mom? I explained to her what I had in mind. She will assign me my own room or keep my things until the wedding. But I'll be spending all my nights here with you. Wait, you mean mom know about what we're gonna... She would know anyway, even if we tried to keep it secret. You know she would. And she's okay with all of this, said Naruto. She's fine with it. Hinata giggled. She'd guide him towards the bed. You're alright with this, too, aren't you? as she gave him a naughty smile. I mean, if you'd rather wait, she squeaked as he pulled the both of them down in the bed. Time skip, the funeral happened 2 days after the day they came back. As Naruto, ceremony happened 5 days after that. As Naruto had many things on his mind, many things to do. To send an invitation to every Kage in every nation, big or small. As he had many changes on his mind, he was pleased to learn that Mist and Lightning had accepted his invitation and will be sending their Kages. Earth and Rain Country were the only refusals, along with trying to improve ties with foreign countries. He wanted to meet with the rest of the council and try to win them over. Time skip. Shizune knocked on the door. Come in, said Naruto, as Shizune came in and saw a dozen Naruto. Naruto, what are you doing? Shizune was beyond heartbroken to hear about Tsunade's death. Naruto wanted to tell her the truth, but he was ashamed. Though she was hurting, the only thing that could, keep her calm right now and make her go through this was to keep on doing her duties, acting as assistant to the new Hokage, now Naruto. As Naruto gratefully accepted her help. What's wrong, said Naruto? I sent 5 clones to take care of the paperwork. If there was an emergency, one of them to have this spell to let me know. That's just it, Naruto. You're the clone. Take care of your duties, said Naruto. He looked at her, not seeing the problem. So most people don't like the idea of the real Hokage not being there to expend his duties. And Shizune, he's just paperwork. All my clones are doing right now is stamping and signing a bunch of papers. What I'm doing here is much more important. She looked at the impressive display that was all over the table. Just what exactly are you doing? I'm working on some new jutsus and new seals. I have a couple of variation for the Harashin. You're creating a new version of that jutsu, she asked. Yeah, and one other thing too. A special jutsu for a ninja that I know. It would be better if you were there in full person, she said. But as long as all the work get done, and you're there to talk to the important daimyos, and give all the proper information when it comes to it. I will, said Naruto. I am taking my duty seriously. And what I'm doing here is gonna better Konoha in so many ways, he said. As she released a sigh and smiled. When the day came, the whole village, everyone had stopped working and doing everything. As everyone had came to Tsunade's funeral, Jiraiya, all of them were there. The entire village placed down flowers. As it was a day of mourning, and rain, even fall. It seems like Konoha was weeping, as all of them went there to say their final goodbyes. Time skip. On New Year's Day, Naruto had listed as his godmother became the 5th Hokage. Now he stood there looking to a sea of faces as all of them look at him. This is what I've dreamed of my entire life, but I would give it up if you were here now, godmother. As he placed a hat on his head and spoke in a loud, clear voice. From this day forward, I shall protect and guard this village of Konoha, for I am the 6th Hokage. His words echoed through the plaza, and then a thunderous applause greeted him. It was the same sound that he remembered from 3 years ago. As he shut his eyes and the pride of approval watched over him. He had done it. He had achieved his lifelong ambition. Now the hard part starts. Time skip. He stared down the plans. He went over the number again. The jutsus would work. His plans would work. His will and his vision was what brought him to this point. He would not stop now. As he heard something coming, but he did not look up. What is it? Said Pain. It is definitely confirmed now, his partner said to his side. Pain finally looked up from his planning, as there was a large paper with different designs on it. Is it? He said. Konan nodded. Naruto Namikaze is definitely alive, and he's now the 6th Hokage of Konoha. What of the 5th? Pain asked curiously. She has reported to being killed during its rescue, but no one knows details of his death. The public, however, is aware that Naruto no longer possessed a Kyuubi. That's very interesting, considering when we left, Tsunade was alive and Naruto was dead. Shrugging, he turned back to his drawings. It may be interesting, but it's not really important. You don't think this is important? Konan asked. No, said Pain, without looking up. Konoha, new leader, has a reason to hate us. Isn't that concerning a bit, she said. Naruto was no match for Itachi even with a Kyuubi. What threat is he now? The forces of Konoha should be a problem, but it doesn't matter. By the time they all figure out what the problem is, it will be too late for all of them. He is inexperienced and weak. He is far less as a threat to us than Jiraiya or Tsunade can be. Konan paused. Pain. Yes. She had known him her entire life. Without him, she would have died long ago, as she was devoted to him and his dream. And she was the only one he might listen to. Are you sure that it will work with only 8? Of course, he said. You once told me that possessing all power of the 9 Bijous was the key to controlling their immense chakra. The one tail is gone, I can do nothing about that. But have no fear, I've carefully compensated the jutsus to make up for the loss. The weapon will work, Konan. Trust in me. She looked at him with deep concern. You know I trust you. I always have. But what if you're wrong? I am not, he said, as he placed a hand on her shoulder. Conan, you know how long this has been my dream. Since we lost everything as kids. I have burned with the desire to make all people understand the futility of war. And the only way to do that is to make war too terrible to be fought any longer. And I would make it happen. We have come too far to stop now. I will make this work. I will bring peace to this world. Trust me. I trust you, Pain. Always, she said. Thank you, he said. As he turned back to the drawings. 5 down. 3 to go. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part of this, or know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. And yeah, I'm out for now. See you guys tomorrow. Peace. And remember to go and hit and check out Anime King 3. Bye guys.